We all have our heroes in this sport. We have our favourite riders that for one reason or another excite us, entertain us, make us laugh more than the next rider. And I think that sometimes we lose sight of the fact that there are other heroes, other people without which this sport would not or could not work. And there is one group of people that to a person we have all vilified at one time or another. I'm referring of course to referees. They do a difficult job and a thankless job. We at the Speedway Tavern are saddened to hear the news of the passing of Tony Steele, a long-standing FIM, GP and SCB Speedway referee. Our thoughts are with his friends and family at this sad and difficult time. Only in Speedway. Yeah, good evening, chaps.
Good evening.
I mean, we have all done that, haven't we, at one time or another, I would say. Vilified a referee or two.
More than was.
And I think sometimes we need to take a stand back and think, without these guys, we wouldn't have this sport.
That's very true, yes.
So, pertinent, obviously, at the moment. And of course, one of the talking points we're going to be coming up to, I suppose, will be the Tom Brennan exclusion
At Oxford.
I have my own opinions on it, but what I would like to say about the whole thing is that whatever our opinion of whether it's right or wrong, the guy has to make a decision, and it wasn't an easy decision, and that's the same for every match everywhere. So I guess what I'm saying is this week when you're watching your favourite team race against the enemy of the moment, and something doesn't go your way, I think it's okay to have an opinion on it, but perhaps particularly this week, let's not start booing referees and the same, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've already got Phil Taylor coming up with Rider of the Week. Joe Thompson of Plymouth Gladiators and Leicester Cubs also picked up good points whilst guesting for Berwick. I'm actually going to throw a name in the hat straight away. I'm going to say Luke Becker.
I was going to say Luke Becker, actually. He's had a good week, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had a really good week.
Ran very well last night for Leicester in their big win at Kings Lynn. So.
So where are we going to start tonight, chaps?
Well, we could have a look around what's going on in a few of the tracks at the moment. Obviously, Scunthorpe had a good week, of course. Weekend they beat Plymouth 62-28.
That's a hell of it.
On Friday. Carlhouse scoring a 15-point maximum, and Scunthorpe remains second in the Cap Direct Championship standings.
My quick maths means that's got to be everyone was a 5-1 except for 2 heats, I think.
I think so, yeah. It was.
Jesus.
But Scunthorpe obviously do have a strong home advantage, don't they? It was obviously a very, very good performance against not a Plymouth team that have probably done better than a lot of people expected, but still think going to be very suspect away from home. But in the Premiership, Luke Becker, of course, as we've mentioned, has had an excellent week, scoring 11 at Sheffield on Thursday, with the Lions getting a draw at Sheffield, of course, which was a bit of a surprise, a bit of a coupon buster on our prediction league. Obviously, he combined with Max Frick for a 5-1 in Heat 15, taking the meet into a super heat, and of course scoring 4 straight wins prior to Heat 15 at Kings Lynn last night, with Kings Lynn Leicester securing a big away win, which strengthens their chances, of course, of getting into the top 4. It does look at the moment as if it's going to be between them and Oxford for that last spot. Of course, meanwhile, Bellevue were in action, of course, last night with a comfortable win in the end against Birmingham, although Birmingham sort of did manage to get to within 6 points of them at one stage. It
didn't look great, did it?
Building on really from what was a very encouraging performance, but obviously the last gas defeat at Oxford on Thursday night. Had Freddie Lindgren started the meeting better against Bellevue, then it might have been even closer, but a bit of a surprise really for it to see he scored a point in his first 2 races there on a track that he normally does very,
really
very well.
Yeah, I'd love to know what was going on there, whether there was engine difficulties or I don't know.
That's
Because
right,
it was a strange one. It killed the match off early on, of course.
Certainly did, yeah. And but I mean, it was always going to be. I mean, even allowing for a good performance at Oxford, it was always going to be a tough task to follow that up, because getting a Oxford, of course, is a bit different to belting around Belgium. So
Yeah,
it's
this track that has got no home track advantage apparently,
Yeah.
but they can't pick up away wins, but can get massive wins at home.
Yep, and then of course all eyes are going to be on Yorkshire on Thursday, of course, because we've got the top two meeting, Sheffield against Ipswich, top of the table clash. Looking at the moment as if it's going to be those two. Those two are the
It's going to be who can pick the best guest, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. So Richie Hawkins is the Ipswich team manager, of course, and he's commented that they could have a big bearing on which way that goes. They're top, obviously, after the first set of fixtures. So there's a psychological advantage, of course, of making sure that you get the top spot in the league as well.
I think it means nothing. I have experience of it mean nothing. I think you probably do as well. But
I don't think we ever finished top of the league in the playoff era. I think all of our title wins came from finishing second or third, and then just doing the business in the playoffs. But relief for Sheffield, really, because of course, as we say, Leicester really did surprise them on the. I think most people let that down as a fairly comfortable home win, didn't they, for Sheffield? But obviously they had their choice. They got choice in the superheat, and of course the Holder brothers teaming up to make sure Sheffield got over the line and got the win.
Exciting speedway, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but let's obviously talk about Birmingham's results. Obviously over the last week, of course, starting off with that meeting at Oxford. I don't think many people went into it with much
hope is the word you're looking for,
after a string of really disappointing performances. Yeah. But I think probably the big thing really was it was good to see a lot of fight from the Birmingham side, and it makes it that they so nearly won as well.
The good thing was that we went ahead, lost the lead, but came back at them. That's the first time we've had. Once usually we lose a lead, it's sort of people hide their faces and away it goes. But that didn't happen, and whichever way around you look at the risks situation, we were unlucky. I should say the Rhys Brennan situation, because I don't want to put a portion blame there. Okay, so Jeff Daniel says, referring to the Brennan exclusion, there was an identical incident when Aces were at first meeting when Kurtz and Pavlichki clashed in Heat 15, and Kurtz got excluded. This time it went against the Birmingham. Correct decision in my eyes. First of all, I don't think the incidents were the same. Mm-hmm. I would say that the contact that Kurtz made on Pavlichki was a lot harder.
Yeah,
and was.
Oh yes, I do remember now. Yeah,
it was a lot harder, and of course, I mean, I have first-hand knowledge of that because it happened right in front. Because I, for those that don't know, I waved the flag on bend one, and it happened right in front of me, and I heard the contact.
Yeah.
So I don't think the two are the same. But even if the two are the same, there is an old saying: "Is there not two wrongs don't make a right?"
Mm-hmm.
So.
I thought it was clever from Eric Rhys on Thursday. To be honest, it was waiting for the contact, wasn't it? All the years I've been watching Speedway, I've seen that loads of times. A rider knows they've sort of lost it, and they just wait for the contact and then chance it to see whether the referee sees it from their side or from his own side. And of course, unfortunately for Birmingham, but fortunately for Oxford,
think 9 times out of 10 that decision would have gone the same way.
Yeah,
Tom Browne would have been excluded. I'm not saying that I think it's right. I'm just saying 9 times out of 10 I think it would have gone that way. But I'm sure there is something in the regulations about it's the person that causes the contact.
Mm.
And I don't think anybody can argue, can they, that he caused the contact. He came across him, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. To be fair, I mean, we'll obviously get both sides of it. Obviously, Samuel Malenko said that obviously with BSM being there, he was able to see the referee's call on Heat 15, and he disagreed with him. He said, in his opinion, Rhys was trying to hold into his position and put his leg out. Obviously, Sam says he knows racing, and what I saw was totally different to the referee's decision. And from the other side of the pitch, Eric Rhys said I certainly felt something, and the replay showed there was
See, that
contact.
says-
I
that-
wouldn't have fallen without it.
Yeah, that says something to me.
Yeah.
That says he was looking for that contact. He was, and he wouldn't have fallen if he hadn't had the contact. So he was. That's what that says to me. But then I've got to turn around and say that you've got commentators, Max Frick on BSN. He saw it the way that the referee saw it.
Yeah.
So it's a really difficult one. But
a rider will obviously see things totally different to
Yeah.
someone who's obviously watching from the terraces.
But Lindgren still had the chance to win it for us, and I mean he was beaten up basically.
Yeah.
But that's what you have to do, I guess.
Even allowing for that, Birmingham still had the points advantage going into that final heat, and I think this is really just real.
It's a bit demoralising because it would have been such a kick up the bum for us. It would have been lovely.
I thought once Birmingham got in front, was it 13? They managed to get in front. I thought they could do this. They're going to have Freddie again in the last heat. He's obviously the man for the big races, and didn't work out that way. But that would have been such a huge boost for Birmingham to go there and win after such after a really, really poor run of results in recent weeks.
Right,
but they need to get this. But they need to get a win at home soon. Then
there's not many meetings left for that to happen, is there? Of course.
Well, yeah, I know that, but they've still got to give something for the fans to sort of cling on to for next season.
Year, yeah. Can you put up a little bit for me? Thank you. Not that far. Not that far. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Elliot Hunt, middle of the meeting, cost us from heat 8 to 10 at Oxford, where we lost 14-4 after we were leading by 4 points after heat 7. It was a great meeting of action to watch, lots of racing, just so unfortunate to lose by 2 points in the end.
I've got to say, I didn't watch the whole meeting until over the weekend. It was a fabulous meeting. I don't know whether you saw it as well. It was a really good advert for Speedo.
I kept doing that for you to stop, and you kept.
I thought you were waving at the crowd.
Yeah. Pete Clark says a German taking a dive. Less Pete.
Controversial.
Elliot Hunt. It was a tricky meeting for the Brummies last night. Bellevue were generally strong, except for heats 8 to 12, where Brummies closed the deficit and got a few heats wins. At least we didn't just fold again. That's a good sign. Elliot Hunt. It's RR for Doyle and Harris guesting for Woffington on Thursday. I'm not entirely sure which team that will favour. But,
there was also a comment on what we were talking about before the show starts regarding Bellevue as well. If anybody can put I can't find it now.
Okay.
Regarding the Bellevue meeting being off.
You mean the King's Lynn?
King's Lynn. Yeah.
There you go. That's why you can't find it.
That's right.
There was something about that. I'd like people's opinions on that, actually. So there's Kings Lynn.
I have got the statement in front of me, so let's read that there. So, Kings Lynn's home clash with Bellevue in the Rome Master Royal Premiership schedule for tomorrow, or for Thursday, I should say, has been postponed. The decision has been taken with the agreement of all parties due to the lack of available riders in order to run a credible fixture. The PSH Environmental Star's current list of absentees would have been extended to include Czech star Jan Kovac, who is required to race in a rearranged extra-Liga fixture in Poland. And with all but one of the 7 teams in the Premiership due to race on Thursday, finding a suitable guest cover has proved impossible. The Aces will now visit the Adrian Flux Arena on Wednesday the 28th of August, with the Stars heading to the National Speedway Stadium as scheduled on next Monday, August the 12th. Kings Lynn Speedway would like to place on record its thanks to the BSBL, the Speedo Control Bureau and the Bellevue Promotion for their understanding of the situation and their agreement to move the fixture.
Okay, so am I not right in thinking that when they did this before, they ended up having points deducted by the SCB?
Well, it's interesting in the statement they have actually said, placed on record the thanks to the BSBL and the Speedo Control Bureau.
That's where I was going to say. It seems like this time it's been done with their permission. So is that?
Do we know? Well, do we know the full story? What happened last time? Did they do it without sort of clarifying it to the BSBL and the SCB first beforehand?
I don't know.
I don't think we're ever going to know that, unfortunately. So
no. And so, sorry, if you can go a little bit higher. for me, please. There you go. There you go. So Jeff Daniels bringing this up. Aces meeting at Lynn postponed for a second time. Rider availability. Rearranged for Wednesday 28th. That is cancelled again for whatever reasons. Should Aces get the points?
Yeah.
Possibly. It depends. I wouldn't say for whatever reason. If it's rained off, or
the only thing I would say with that is that sets a precedent, doesn't it? Because if a team thinks if we can get this meeting called off, we'll get the points awarded to us. Speedway can't get into the position where it starts awarding points for teams not fulfilling fixtures because you wouldn't have any meetings being run at all.
It's
too much of a grey area.
It needs to be clarified, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it needs to be sorted out in the
winter.
In the winter, yeah, absolutely. Elliot Hunt wonder what Brummies are doing to replace Pavliczky as he is riding in Poland the same meeting as Kvech. Personally, I think they'd probably be as good off with rider replacement.
Probably would be, to be fair. So. It wasn't great again. Had one very good ride, or a cracking race with Chris Harris on Thursday, didn't he, at Oxford, but didn't really do much in that meeting, I thought, other than that. And again, the same last night at Bellevue.
I mean, Jeff Daniels makes the point, Bellevue riders are obviously now going to be available to guest on Thursday, but will they?
Yeah.
Give them the chance, I imagine they will.
Well, it's extra money in the pocket, isn't it? So
it's what they do. And Craig Smith says, surely Kings Lynn will be deducted points again. It doesn't sound like it, does it, from that statement? So, watch this space.
Okay. Well, let's drop into the championship then and have a look at what's been going on there. Beric Ricer Drew Krimp racked up his best score in the Cab Direct Championship level with a 15-point haul in the Bandits' thrilling draw against Oxford on Saturday, and then combined with Lewis Kerr to squeeze out Cheetah's captain Scott Nichols to give the home side the victory in the dramatic superheat. Big result for Beric, that one, because they had a really good start of the season, didn't they? But they've sort of, they've really sort of frittered away a little bit, haven't they, during the course of the season? So a big result for them. But at the moment, I think you've got to look at Paul. They are flying at the moment. Their form has been superb. They had another very convincing win.
They look untouchable at the moment, don't they?
And the Pirates promoter Dan Ford says Paul are in a strong place as they go into this week's matches against second player Scunthorpe, and he's been impressed with how his side can raise their game when needed. Ford said, what has pleased me is the manner in which we seem to change gear mid-meeting. That's vital as it fires all our boys up and at the same time tends to sap all the confidence out of our opponents. All we need to do now is keep that form going as we head into the latter stages of this campaign. And I think it's fair to say that only a complete fool would ever write Paul off, to be fair.
Yeah, they're in the wrong league. We've said
they
this
should
before.
they should be in the top league. They've got their own choices obviously for being there. They've obviously got their reasons for being there, but I think really they should be in the top league. I've always said it's the equivalent of Manchester City playing in the Championship, winning the league by 100 points every season and then declining promotion. So
never going to happen.
No.
Tom Brennan are absolutely flying for them at the moment as well.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a sticky patch, hasn't he, in recent weeks. Sticky patch is probably maybe a little bit harsh, but not being quite at the level that he was at the start of the season, certainly for Birmingham as well. But he was obviously really disappointed with how he faded a little bit towards the end of last night's meeting at Bellevue because he looked really good in the first few races. Obviously, he knows the track well, and of course had a great performance in the British final there. Arguably was the best rider and probably should have won it. I suppose some people would argue. I certainly felt that. I mean, I was there. I thought he was the best rider on the night.
A lot of people said that.
Yeah.
Shame. But that's sort of been Birmingham's story this year.
A little bit, yeah. Just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not everybody's fired on the same night, have they? So,
Craig Smith says Birmingham again was so unlucky last week at home. They've been good entertainment this season without the results to show it. I actually think had this team been tracked a few seasons ago in the top flight, Birmingham would be right up there. But because of how strong the league is this season and the calibre of riders in the league has improved, I think they've been unlucky. I mean,
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think this team on paper is stronger than the team that finished top in 2013?
No. No, I don't, because we had what we have. The thing we're missing is a good engine room.
Yeah.
We had Danny King and Ben Barker. I'm thinking the wrong league now. 2015, you said.
Yeah. 2013. No, I was saying 2013.
Okay, no, that was
Yeah.
yeah. So no, but who knows?
Although, having said that, at the same time, would that 2013 team be as competent in this division? I probably wouldn't be, I don't think.
No, I think that's true. I mean, it was quite surprising that it was, as for a lot of people, as competitive as it was that year, to be fair.
Yeah, bearing in mind some of the things that were apparently going on out of people's vision. So.
Elliot Hunt Brennan is literally every night of the week at the moment with Paul. Birmingham, Poland and Sweden, only one night off in this 2 weeks.
That suits some riders, though, doesn't it, to be riding, here, there and everywhere, day after day after day, and some of the riders obviously prefer to have sort of, 2 or 3 days off a week, so I guess it depends on personal preference, really.
Brian Reeson, it was nice to see Jason Doyle in the crowd last Thursday at Vauxhall Stadium collecting for Ben Fund. They raised nearly 3,000. That's a good...
That's a
good, yeah, really well done.
That's a nice chunk of money, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and, good to see, obviously, Doyley's obviously still good, keeping an interest in what's happening at Ipswich. He was having such a...
Oh,
who had 2023 in the sweepstake?
I think that was me.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Okay, yes.
Tough. Yeah, it is, and as I say, I mean, he looked like he was on for a really, really good season, and he'd had a superb start in the GPs, and obviously won his first Grand Prix for 7 years, and then obviously
is it really been
injured.
7 years?
Yeah, 7 years. It's 7 years since he won the World Championship in 2017, so to all intents and purposes, well, would have won it in 2016 had he not got injured before the last Grand Prix. So.
That's true. Craig Smee, football club players complain for playing 3 games a week on 500k a week. Different gravy, these speedway riders.
That's true, yeah.
As our resident football fan, what do you say to that?
That's probably about, that's for some players, that's a couple of days' wages nowadays.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, Workington's new star, Antivilas, was the last 8 hero for the Comets. Is a narrow home win over Redcar on Saturday, which keeps alive their hopes of a top 4 finish. I think they've surprised a lot of people, haven't they, Workington, with how well they've done. Obviously, first season back in professional speedway.
Whoever made the decision to bring Antivilas over, well, that was pretty hard.
Looking like he's looking good for Bellevue as well, but certainly for Workington has been excellent, and they're still very much in the race to get into the playoffs, which would be a really, really big achievement in their first season back in that league. And it's it's great to see Workington back. It's one track that's certainly on my list of tracks to go to. It's a long old way to go, unfortunately, but hopefully at some point that I'll be able to get up there, because obviously it looks like it's in a really nice setting as well. You see any overhead photographs of the place right on the coast. It looks a really nice, lovely spot. Well,
yeah, maybe we should take a trip out there.
Yep.
If
we do a live show, we should do from Workington.
Pete Clark says Tom Brennan started the season really well, and he was on fire at the start of the season, and expectations have been rising ever since. It was always going to be hard to maintain that high standard all season. I would say that he has maintained it. His score might have gone down slightly, but he's in a different situation within the team.
Yeah, he's probably one place higher in the team than he should be, really. But
I think you can say that for every one of the riders.
Yeah. Well, apart from Freddie, obviously, but
Craig Smee, I really like Antivolos.
Yeah.
Which that's not right. Now I've got Antivolos in my head, and I can't think of his real name.
Volos.
He's been great at home for Bellevue so far in the couple of meetings he's rode. Great style on the bike. He has got his nice tidy style.
I was quite impressed with him when I saw him riding against Birmingham a few weeks ago. Obviously, never seen the track before, but took to it really well. Obviously, won the reserves race. So he looks like he could be a really good find for both the Aces and for the Comets. We should obviously, send our best wishes as well to Henry Atkins. Obviously, he's decided to retire from speed after he's missed most of this season through injury. Oxford team manager Peter Stroke has paid tribute to him. He says he's been a huge part of the club's rebirth since our rebirth in 2022, and he'll be missed by everyone. I wish him the very best in whatever the future brings. I've asked him not to be a stranger. Henry will always have a warm welcome here at Sandy Lane. I saw him ride for a few times in the National League days at Birmingham. I think he was riding for Plymouth then, and I was always quite impressed with him as a rider.
Again, a nice tidy style.
Yeah. Plymouth obviously in the National League era seemed to be the one team that always seemed to have the upper hand over Birmingham and Perry Barr. They won at Birmingham a couple of times, didn't they? So, but we send our best wishes to him, because obviously he, again, we're seeing too much of this really, haven't we? A lot of young English talent that doesn't really get fulfilled. Obviously, this one's not. Quite a few of them have been, sort of the likes of Zach Voigt, and Jack Parkinson and Blackburn, who've sort of struggled with the sort of mental side of it, but obviously this one is obviously due to injury. So we wish Henry very well.
It's Craig Smee. Tom Brenner has had a good season. I think he did have a slight mid-season blip, but seems to be hitting form again now. I think he could be a real spoiler at Cardiff. Be good to see him there. Be good to see him get a few points, which I think is the most we can possibly. I mean, it's going up another league, isn't it?
It's going up another level. It's going to be tough for him, but it's a challenge that I'm sure he'll embrace.
Well, he has nothing to lose, of course.
No, that's it.
So he can,
and hopefully, if the track's well prepared like it was last year, not like the year before when it was a shambles.
Let's just not go back to that, please.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be. I don't think anybody's seriously expecting him to go there and get in the final. It'd be great if he does, but I think
it's been done before. Of course, it has been done.
It has been done. The
wild card's gone in there and won the thing. I think Bartosz Marslik did that, didn't he?
He did, yeah. The last rider to do it in the British Grand Prix was Martin Dugard. I think and that was 2000. So long time
years ago.
So
I can work that. My maths is that good.
So.
Elliot Hunt said Leon did well last night for Birmingham. Hopefully that continues into the Leicester fixture. Great Heat 8 win.
Yeah, that win.
There has been signs, I think
a little bit, that hit, certainly that Heat win at Bellevue last night, that'll hopefully give him, a bit of a boost, because, as we've said many times on the show, he's his own biggest critic, isn't he? You've said, haven't you? You've heard him many times under his helmet.
Oh God,
reacting to a poor result. So,
anguish is the way I would describe.
Yeah, he's a great little rider, and he's a great lad as well. Obviously we've had him on the show, and obviously he was very popular when he was at Birmingham before. He was also very popular when he rode for us at Wolves. So.
Craig Smee wants to know, has anybody got any pictures of the Mildenhall fire? There has been conflicting reports, so I'm not entirely sure whether it has spread to the stadium, but I think last I heard, I think it did spread to the stadium.
Hopefully this doesn't put any kibosh on them, because there is there's talk about them coming back next year, haven't they? And hopefully this doesn't sort of put them back to square one.
Fingers crossed. We need teams coming back desperately.
Yeah, from what I've gathered as well, they would probably be looking to come back into the second tier, wouldn't they? Not into the National League. Obviously, the last time they were in the second tier, I think they lost every single meeting, didn't they? So, but
know how they feel.
Yeah, it wasn't quite every single meeting. I don't think, was it there? So.
Brian Reeson, I don't think Kings Lynn Speedway will be inviting Adam Ellis back in a hurry, as he didn't score a single point in 4 rides guesting last night. He hasn't kicked on, has he?
No, he hasn't. He rode well in the British final, I should say.
He
did ride very well in that meeting. I think he was bitterly disappointed in the end to miss out on the final, because if he got to the final, maybe he could have been a bit of a spoiler in that one. Obviously he's won it before, he's been to Cardiff before, and he'd love that experience again, but it's just, again, another one that sort of hasn't really kicked on, unfortunately. So,
well, the comments keep coming in, and we'll try and keep up with all of them. I've got something I want to announce. Duncan Pemberton, hi guys, regarding Workington, I paid them a visit last Saturday for the first time, found the stadium basic but very adequate. The track was a great shape, especially liked the third and fourth bend like Halifax was. You're well above the racing to spectate, which was great. Only downer for some people, including me, is there is no running water at the track, so all the loos are Portaloos. Right. Which when I paid one a visit after Heat 6 was pretty disgusting. Yeah, sounds like Swindon. Do you remember?
Yes, I never went in there. Walking past there was bad enough. So
yeah.
We certainly knew you were there anyway.
They have 5-litre containers of hand gel to wash your hands. I hope that is in the pipeline to be addressed. I didn't know about that.
Well, it is. It is obviously, as everyone said, a very, very basic set of business there. It's
tracks in fields. It's what we need.
Tracks it's sort of something that's hopefully going to be a little bit like Somerset was. Sort of start with just a track in the field and then sort of.
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's just a shame really that in the end, of course, it was COVID that finished Somerset off, wasn't it? You know, because obviously the stadium was used for all sorts of other things, which sort of subsidised the speedo, and then obviously COVID struck and they couldn't use the venue. So
Craig Smith seen pictures of the abandoned Lakeside track. I think the Sun newspaper covered it. Why is it still abandoned? Heard Lakeside want to get them back on track, which I believe is true. Does anybody know if it's been abandoned by owners, a bit like the Coventry scenario, and pushing for housing development?
As far as I know, the housing development there has fallen through. It's not going to happen anymore.
Bit like Coventry.
Yeah, so what's going to happen? Well, we don't know. I mean, I was talking to someone the other day, and he's obviously in contact with Dave Rowe, and apparently they've heard absolutely nothing at all from Brandon Estate since the
licking their wounds.
Yeah, but which sort of cynical side of it suggests that they are sort of plotting something, but don't know what yet.
Yeah, well, it's money, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's money. Milton Hall Stadium fire has destroyed many outbuildings, including small bar, toilets, offices, track unaffected. Reg Fentiger. Brennan Road in 2022 Cardiff GP, so he will have some experience of being there.
As we say, hopefully on a better track than that one was.
Yeah. That would not have been a good experience.
Yep. Well, let's drop into the National League now very quickly. Obviously, we are coming up to the time when we do our predictions, but the man of the moment, continuing to be the man of the moment in that league, and that's William Cairns. Mark his official debut for Bellevue Colts, obviously after two previous guest appearances elsewhere in the NDL, with another bumper score of 17+2 as the Colts edged out Oxford on Friday. Cairns and Sam Hagan clinched the win with a 5-1 in heat number 15.
Before you carry on, can I just say, can we get some more people to put in their Rider of the Week nomination, please?
Yes, I think so, yes.
Yeah, but
Rider of the Week, Rider of the Week, Rider of the Week.
He's
oh.
But what an impact he's made, William Cairns. It's you know, I mean, I know he's highly rated. I mean, I know Greg Hancock's obviously done a lot of work with him, and he rates him very highly. But I think, you know, the performances so far, 15 years of age, so obviously he's not eligible yet to be able to race in either of the two big leagues. But you know, you would think it would only be a matter of time. I mean, obviously Ashton Bovens gone straight in in that league, and he's done pretty well so far.
I can only think of another. I think am I right in thinking that used to captain the Brummies, his name disappeared out of my head.
Oh God, yeah.
Ben Barker and
Danny King.
Danny King. Yeah. Didn't he go straight up into the top league?
I can't remember, to be honest. I don't know whether it was him or whether it was his brother. It might have been him, I think.
Somebody out there will tell us.
Yeah.
So lots of people voting for Luke Becker now.
Yeah, Becker.
Nice to see Billy Budders, Colts number 8, although he did not get a ride, says Dave Twine. Have we finished?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought we'd got a bit more. Okay. So, bit of announcement. I want to try something for next season. I spoke last week a little bit about how difficult it was to put a team together, and how, what was the different ways of doing it. And it got me thinking, wouldn't it be great if we could actually put a team together? So that's what we're going to do next year. So everybody's going to have a chance to put their team together, and it's going to work like this. There's going to be 7, we hope, teams. We don't really know how many teams are going to be in the Premiership. And we're going to have 7 of us, which I'll explain in a moment, with a team each, and they're going to put a team together from the same bunch of riders that all the promoters have got. There's obviously going to be lots of rules around this, and which we will have in place for next year. But the idea is that if you want to have a team, you've got to make a bid for it, and we're going to any money raised is going to go straight to charity. Hopefully, the Ben Fund is what we're thinking about, but we've obviously got to speak to the people at the Ben Fund about that. Really, this is just me putting my toe in the water. Would anybody be interested in taking part in that? And if so, I will put that together. I can see you looking all panicky at me then.
I've got enough on the plate doing the prediction list.
Yeah. So just a quick straw poll out there. Would you be interested in doing that? Okay.
Obviously, as the season goes on, of course, at the end of the season, of course, we'll as you've said, we will have talks with the people at the Ben Fund. But obviously, more and more of it will be sort of come clear, we hope, as the season goes on, and then obviously we should be in a position, hopefully, to start that next year. So,
okay, well, that's that. Ty Woffenden, stating he's going to try to get back for the British GP. We were saying not 2 or 3 weeks ago that possibly his season had ended.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden he's saying, "Yeah, I'm going to be back for the British GP," or that's his target.
Has he told his doctors that?
Possibly he might have told his Polish doctors in speaking in English. Maybe that's where he's got around that. What do we think?
Well, that's really the one thing that's still left on his bucket list, isn't it? He wants to win it. He hasn't won it. He's finished second a couple of times, but he's never managed to win the Cardiff GP, and I think it's still something that rankles with him. Although he might have been pleased for Dan Bewley, I think there was a lot of envy that he managed to win a Cardiff a couple of years ago. It'd be great for him to do. As I said, it's the one thing that's really missing there. With the best will in the world, he's not going to win another world championship. I think that's past now. I don't think he's got the consistency. I don't think he's got the all
playing devil's advocate here
to do that.
I remember you saying exactly the same about Greg Hancock, and then all of a sudden he came out and won 2, I think.
Yeah.
So.
To be fair, I also said it about Jason Doyle, so I didn't think he'd win another Grand Prix again, and of course he did manage to. It took him 7 years, but...
right, so if you can put the comments back up a little bit, there was a few to get through there. Although, we've got loads more for... Emil Saifutinov said Rider of the Week. I was at the meeting, Elliot Hunt, and Tia May Brandt was the first woman to win the 125cc support section. Great racing and 36 heats covered throughout the night, with NDL meeting 500cc and 125cc youth races. Do you know what, Elliot? I think he gets through. I don't know. He must be watching a meeting every single night. He really gets
matchsticks up.
Yeah.
Speedway needs more fans like Elliot, though, don't they?
Absolutely.
I think that's.
And Ben Morley at Kent has been.
Brian Racing said Emil, obviously maximum for Ipswich, which is last week world class. But, we know that. Interestingly, Scott Nichols has called for both Emil and Artem Liguta's ban from the GP.
Yes, I saw that.
To be
interesting.
Difficult. It's a difficult one, isn't it? I think the common sense would say yes, but I guess a lot of it's going to depend on the FIM and on what they want.
I think a lot of it depends also upon people's. So you look at other sports, and I mean, there's no Russia in Paris this week.
Yeah.
Do we really want to look different to all the other sports in that regard?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, to be honest, I mean, there hasn't been any animosity towards Emil, has there? Since he's gone back to racing.
Not at all.
I think, I've said before, I mean, I remember when he came to Monmouth last year, and you went in the pits before the meet, and there's always a lot of people milling around the pits waiting for autographs. But there was a massive queue to have photographs taken with Emil and obviously autographs. And give the guy his due, he had photographs and so on, autographs with every single one. He's very, very approachable, very, very friendly. I think he's been a breath of fresh air for Speedo, and he's been a class act, and he's an outstanding rider as well. He was superb on the 2 occasions he's been to Birmingham this season. Of course, we will get to see him one more time there this season as well, so which will be really really exciting. But
he likes our track. he really likes our track. Well,
of course, obviously this time he'll have Freddie, won't he? So that'll be hopefully worth the admission fee, alone. So
I mean, Emil Seifutin's got to see that as a, you're in the Grand Prix, and I
want to be back in.
Yeah, this is me putting a pointer out to that. Craig Smith, we've had a few about Leon Hint winning Heat 8 on a different bike. I'd like to know more about that. A couple of people mentioned that they do Speedway Fantasy League every year and that they would be interested.
That's
so
good. I think because the show gets repeated as well, there'll be another couple of thousand that watch afterwards. So I think there'll be a lot more interest. So it goes.
So I think we're probably going to go ahead and start that for next season and see how it goes.
Still got to fine tune it to.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think Craig Smith there is on a really good point. I think Woofingen feels it could be his last time at Cardiff. Personally, I can't see him.
Yeah.
Move it down, please.
Sorry.
Personally, I can't see him getting a pick for next season unless he wins a few GPs between now and the end of the season to make the organisers sit up.
I think that's fair comment, actually. Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, whether he would get a wild card for the Cardiff GP. I mean, obviously, he'd obviously been, now that he's obviously decided to race in the British final again. There's that opportunity, but I don't think it's the same just racing in it as a one-off thing where there's no pressure on you. I think he wants to still be involved in the Grand Prix, but it could potentially be his last chance. He's not going to get many more chances. I mean, he's 34 now, so
yeah,
same age as me.
A few years ago.
Oh, sort of waistline.
Yeah, and that as well.
Mind you, having said that, we did say that about Greg Hancock. I mean, Greg was 46 when he won his last World Championship.
46?
Yes.
That's a record that'll never get broken.
We're talking about Mike's waistline now. Every club needs half a dozen Elliots.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention that. Yeah, I mean, I should say about Elliot as well. His face is going to be going red. Not only does he go around all these meetings and watching all these meetings, he's integral part of Birmingham Speedway, of the supporters club, and at the end of the night he comes out and helps us take all the.
Yeah, he's a character, isn't he? Elliot? He's a real character.
Takes all the tyres off and takes all the sheets off. Not by himself, by the way. That's how that sounded. And but he'll be there on Sunday as well, helping putting the sheets down. So yeah, he's a real. Like I mentioned at the beginning, there are a lot of heroes in this sport, and they're not all riders. That's one of them.
Well, with the time coming up to 1:45, I think we should
get on for that. Yes, okay. And it's Mr. Webby's start this week.
So a quick look on the tables as well. I'll try anyway. I can't see that.
No,
but
it's the downside of having too many fixtures, unfortunately. So
yeah. Mr. Corbett's in the lead anyway. Who's that in second place?
Rich Thomas, who I think was second last year. So it's last year's 1-2, and I've dropped, unfortunately. As quite often mentioned, Elliot, he's in third at the moment. So he's obviously had a bit of a rise up the table. So. And in the battle of the studio, it's still me way out in front.
And you're happy about that, aren't you? Just a little bit.
And just a point between this pair. So
yeah, there we go.
And who's got the highest? Okay.
Of course.
I must be really strong on bringing the rear up once again. Did I not get one of my draw predictions right last week?
You didn't actually. I did actually. I think last week you did actually say you were thinking of going for Oxford Berwick as a draw, and you didn't in the end, and that was a draw. So.
Damn. Okay, shall we get on with this, Gar?
Okay, right. So your first fixture is tomorrow night. Pull against Scunthorpe, top 2 in the championship.
And that's up to you, Chris.
Pull by 6.
That's That's not a bad shout, actually. It's going to be a good match, isn't it? I'm going to say Pool by 6 as well.
Oh, one right.
I'm going to say Pool by 10.
Craig Smith's gone Pool by 6 as well. Bloody hell.
Yeah, I'm going to say Pool by 10.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I just think they've got the bit between the teeth at the moment, Paul. Also in the Championship tomorrow night, Oxford against Plymouth.
Oxford versus Plymouth. Go think of a number and then double it. Oxford by 16.
Oxford by 14, I'll go for on that one.
Chris?
Oxford by 12.
Okay. Next up is the Midland Derby in the Premiership, Leicester against Birmingham.
And that's up to you, Matt, is it?
It is, yep.
Yep.
I will go for Leicester by 12.
I'll
probably take that.
That's going to be a tough match for Birmingham, that is, isn't it? Because the record at Leicester is horrific, I think, isn't it? So,
always.
Yeah.
I'll go Leicester by 14.
Oh, well, they'd beat Coventry at Leicester. Do you know what? I'm just feeling a little bit more positive this week. So, and this is going to sound strange that with this score, I'm saying I'm feeling a bit more positive. But Leicester by 10.
Okay. Then also on Thursday, top of the table clash, Sheffield against Ipswich.
That's up to you, Chris.
I'll go Ipswich by 6.
You know what I'm thinking, don't you?
That's not a bad shout, actually.
I'm getting good at this, you know.
But you know what I'm thinking, don't you?
Yes, I know what you're thinking. I've already put it in the things.
Have you? Ipswich by 2.
Oh, right, okay. Fair enough. Scunthorpe against Poole is the next one. Did I go for that one?
You didn't. You
No, I
did
didn't.
that.
I will go Ipswich by 4.
Okay.
Scunthorpe against Poole is the next one in the Championship.
And that's up to me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Scunthorpe by 2.
Poole by 2.
You've got to go with a draw, haven't you?
No.
Come on, you've got to go with a draw.
Pool by 6.
Okay.
And then we've got the Scottish Derby on Friday, Edinburgh against Glasgow.
That's up to you.
Edinburgh by 6.
I'll go Glasgow by 2.
Really? Draw.
Maybe get one in somewhere.
You've got to get one in.
In the National Development League, it's Middlesbrough against Leicester.
That's up to you, Chris.
I'll go Leicester by 8.
Leicester by 4.
Leicester by 6, I'll go for. And then in the Championship on Saturday, Berwick against Workington.
That's to me, isn't it? That's going to be tasty. I'm tempted to go draw again. And I said that last week and didn't, and then I could have got one. It's a strange old track, Berwick, isn't it? Berwick by 4.
I'll go Berwick by 6.
We can hear you, Chris.
I'll go Berwick by 6 as well.
Okay. Plymouth against Glasgow is the next one. A long old trip for the Tigers, that one.
That's probably is that? Do you reckon the longest?
It must be one of the longest.
Yeah. That's up to you, Matt.
Glasgow by 4.
Glasgow by 6.
Glasgow by 6.
Okay. And on Sunday, it's the return match at Workington as they take on Berwick.
Oh, that's up to me, is it?
It is, yep.
I'll go Berwick by 4.
Workington by 12.
I might cut that one wrong. Yeah.
Workington by 10, I'll go for on that one. Next up is Bellevue against Kings Lynn on Monday.
And that's me, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, gosh. Bellevue by 26.
Bellevue by 20, I'll go for.
Bellevue by 18.
Okay. And last up, on Monday as well, Birmingham against Leicester.
That's up to you.
Okay. I mean, in saying that, Birmingham's running a record against Leicester at home isn't particularly good, is it?
It's just not good.
I'll go Leicester by 2.
I'll go Leicester by 6. Team.
Birmingham by 4.
Hopefully for Birmingham's sake, they'll take something from these. You know, I know they've lost both meetings, and obviously a 16-point defeat isn't great, but it's probably better than people expected at Bellevue.
It's better than a lot of people have done at Bellevue as well.
Well, considering I went for Bellevue in by 30, it was a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you look sad.
Well, to be honest, when I saw Freddie Lingard scored his first 2 rides, I thought that might not be too far away. But credit to Birmingham, they sort of had a bit of a revival in the midway.
I'd love to know what was going on with Freddie, what the problem was, because that's not.
No, as I say, it's a track he always does well at, doesn't he?
So, if you can we've got a few comments to catch up on. If you want to pop them up a little bit. Going back to the Russian situation, Duncan Pemberton says the Russians, for all intents and purposes, are Poles. They live there, race there, have Polish race licenses. Licenses. Never agreed with Putin in press releases, so why not? It's a precedent. It'd be brave to do.
It'd be brave, yeah.
It'd be a brave move.
It's whether they would be willing to sort of
go against every other sports federation in the world.
That's the problem, isn't it? So,
and probably go up against the government. They'd probably have something to say about it as well. Yeah. You would think. Pete Clark talking about Elliot says he cleans the pits in his spare time.
I think the government have got other things to worry about at the moment, haven't they? So.
Yeah. You're welcome, Elliot. David Albrighton has Schmarzlik bubble burst. He crashed in Polish Championship, had to pay to get back in. He went that wide.
Yeah.
I wish I've
heard that before.
Yeah,
it's difficult.
He's not been as dominant this season as he had like the season before. But he's still winning.
Do you know what it reminds me of a little bit? Do you remember when Jason Grunt won his last World Championship in 2009? He was flying, wasn't he, early on in the season, and then after the Cardiff GP, I think that was his 3rd win out of.
That was the one with that.
Whoa! How'd he go?
Whoa!
It was the one where Emil and Scott Nichols had a bit of a disagreement. I think that might be the one. But after, I thought it was a haunted house. Then, after that GP, so he had 2 or 3 Grand Prix. He had a massive lead, and it was almost sort of like he was in a bit of no man's land. Does he go for it, or does he sort of play it safe? And that wasn't really his style, was it, Grumpy? He was always a racer, and then of course, as we know, he made the ill-fated decision to come back and race for Bellevue, crashed, and I think he's admitted since he was so close in the end to losing that World Championship.
Yeah.
This could be a very similar situation, I think, with Schmarzlik. He's in a bit of no man's land. Everybody's telling him he's already got the championship sewn up. Does he carry on, just go all out, or does he sort of hold himself in a little bit? I don't think there's any realistic prospect of him being caught. I think he's got too big a lead now. But
if you can take it up a little bit, and there's a great comment at the end which I definitely want to come to.
That's quite fun as well.
Pete Clark Birmingham's record against everyone isn't great at the moment.
Be anyone really.
I think keep going. We've done that. Okay, so this is great radio, isn't it? Do the Olympics offer a neutral category for competitors to not represent a country?
Well, they had a refugee.
The refugees do that, don't they? Could Speedway do this and Laguta and Emil race as individuals unattached?
Am I right in saying that the last season that they both rode in the GPs, they did that anyway?
I think they did.
I'm sure they did. They didn't have Russian flags on their race jackets, and I know they didn't play the Russian national anthem when either of them won the GP. I'm fairly certain of that.
Dave Twine's had a problem with his shout box.
Oh.
It vanished for 5 minutes, but he's got his matches in, so he's happy.
That's right.
Phil Taylor, could you give a... Phil Taylor, now there's a name. Could you're looking at me blank. I'll tell you later. Could you give a shout out to the bar bandits of Plymouth who travel over the country following the Gladiators and will be at Oxford tomorrow night making lots of noise supporting their team? Consider it done.
The bar bandits. Who are the noisiest fans?
Who are the noisiest fans at the moment? Bellevue made a bit of noise.
Bellevue, Sheffield always make a noise as well, don't they? So
Noisiest ever out of 10?
Cradler.
Really?
Yeah.
Noisy or annoying?
Yeah, well, not both.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
No, Crowley were always very passionate fans, weren't they? Sometimes maybe were a bit over the top, but
Maybe.
Yeah.
We're being that diplomatic today.
We're running out of time, actually. I had a stupid question to ask, but
okay.
I don't think I'm going to get it in now. But anyway, Rider of the Week must be...
I'm guessing Luke Becker's.
I think Luke Becker's got more than anybody else, hasn't he? So
by miles.
Can you take it up just a little bit? There was something somewhere I wanted to So apparently Lindgren missed the gate the first 2 rides and the track was wet.
Okay.
Okay, it's an explanation. Okay, well.
Okay,
we're
yeah.
coming-
In 60 seconds, explain to me.
Okay.
somebody else has asked, how guests work. How does that work?
In 60 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you'd have said it at the start of the show, he might have got it in, I think. So.
This is my take on it. It's very unusual to Speedway. It doesn't happen in anywhere else.
No, it doesn't, no.
However, no, I tell a lie. It does happen somewhere else. It happens in Formula One. So when Lewis Hamilton had COVID and couldn't do a race, they had a guest in. They
Yeah.
had
But wasn't it from the same
his
team?
current team. No, it was from a different team.
Right.
It was from a different team. They
okay.
borrowed him, and he's now racing for Mercedes. I can't remember his name. George Russell.
Yep.
George
Right.
Russell.
Okay.
So that's sort of a little bit like that, isn't it?
20 seconds left.
Dave Twine is talking about Phil Taylor.
I think when Michael Schumacher broke his leg, didn't they have Mika Salo guesting for Ferrari for a number of races
So
while he was recovering, I think.
But it works like this.
Yeah.
Say you're very lucky in football. As a footballer, you get paid whether you're in the team or not. You might get bonuses. That doesn't work in Speedway.
No.
If you're not racing, you don't get paid. Simple as that.
What's the
So-
criteria for a guest?
Which is
I think
what-
where I'm getting to.
Yeah, what's the criteria? If you've got an
The lower
injury,
average.
if somebody's injured, or if they're in another meeting, like an international meeting or something like that, then you're allowed to. I think it's different in the different leagues now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're allowed to get a guest to the same average
Oh, it's averages.
of,
Okay.
but it's slightly. You can have a slightly higher average for home meetings because obviously you ride again. This is in the Premiership, and it'd be a slightly lower average for away meetings
Right. Okay.
because that's the way it sort of works.
and
in Speedway.
obviously
Yeah.
availability.
Yeah. Craig Smith says Bellevue the noises. Sheffield don't make noise. It's just one guy in a big gob in the Ben 2 Barmy Army. The Ben 2 Barmy Army, they're great to be fair. I mean, we had a lot of banter with them at Wolves. But to be fair, the last time they came to Wolves, they were singing anti-Ladbroke songs, which obviously went down well at Mumba, given the plight we were in at the time.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Dave Twine, my best mate I have known for 64 years, is called Phil Taylor and has played the Phil Taylor at Darts years ago. Now
I
you know
that
where.
story.
Yeah. Now you know.
Good banter with the Sheffield lot, though. To be fair, yeah, I've got a lot of respect
I
for Sheffield.
love banter like that,
Yeah.
and it's fun and it's good natured and
And I see quite a few fans who don't like it, but each their own. I think he'd add something.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't bother me. So
Dave Twine makes the last point that I'm going to do. Most teams are on 18 matches now, so no new signings because that's the new rule
Yep.
this year. So there you go. Wow, that went quick.
yeah,
Good, yeah. Good show.
We will see you next week, which will be our GP special.
it is next week. Yes.
Yes, it is next week.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone. Have a good one.
Good night.
Good night.
Stay safe.
Good night. Good night.
Welcome to the Speedway